The full moon illuminated the small clay house, whose fragile structure seemed ready to succumb under the weight of recent losses. Inside, Marla, at 30 years old, struggled to calm her youngest son, feverish and crying. It was 1918, and the Spanish flu ravaged the region, taking lives and leaving a trail of pain and despair. That week, Marla had already buried 3 children. Her shattered mother's heart resisted the idea of losing another. Little Joao whimpered softly, but his sounds were muffled by distant thunder, as if the storm mirrored the internal torment consuming Marla. In the next room, Plinio and Antonio, still children, tried to sleep, oblivious to the suffering permeating the house. They had already learned to live with fear and loss, but the thin walls couldn't shield them from Marla's whispered prayers, heavy with anguish and hope. Through tears and silent promises, Marla made a decision. If Joao survived, she would dedicate her life to protecting her remaining children, ensuring they had a chance to live. But when morning arrived, Joao's small, lifeless body revealed that her prayers had not been answered. The pain of losing another child did not break Marla, but transformed her. With dry eyes and an almost supernatural strength, she rose, determined to protect her remaining children at any cost. Hunger, disease, death, nothing would surpass her determination. Over time, Marla gave birth to more children. Of these, only 4 survived. Plinio, the eldest and most intelligent, always with a book or a new idea. Antonio, a tireless worker with calloused hands from an early age. Maria, the dreamer, fascinated by the mysteries of the stars. And Amara, the youngest, born amidst so much loss but with a sparkle in her eyes that promised a different future. Since she was little, Amara loved spending her afternoons by the beach, running freely, playing, and covering herself in sand. Together with Antonio and Plinio, she used to collect small shellfish in shallow waters and hunt fish. The trio, under the watchful eye of their father, Cicero, a tireless fisherman, roasted the shellfish over a beachside fire. The smell of roasting shellfish mixed with the sound of waves crashing on the shore was one of the happiest moments of her childhood. Cicero, always with his nets and fishing rods, was the family's pillar and rarely left the coast. He spent long periods at sea, returning only when the catch was good. But even in his absence, his love and dedication to the family were undeniable. He was both provider and caretaker. Marla and the children knew that even when he was far away, he was always thinking about their well-being. On a particular day, while Cicero was on one of his fishing journeys, Marla stayed home alone with the children. It was a quiet afternoon, but the threat of the Spanish flu loomed in the air, and she worried about everyone's health. The house was filled with shadows, but Marla never let sadness consume her soul. She had to stay strong. Amara grew up surrounded by stories of her mother's resilience and courage. At 7 years old, on a bright afternoon, she accompanied Marla to the stream to wash clothes. Curious, she strayed from the group, exploring the surrounding terrain. That's when the ground gave way, and she fell into a deep well. Despair gripped Marla and the siblings. Night fell, bringing with it biting cold and the anguish of not knowing how to get her out. Exhausted and frightened, Amara was found the next morning, rescued by Plinio and Antonio's calloused hands, who improvised ropes to bring her back. The fever that followed left Amara bedridden for weeks, and her injured finger never returned to normal. But the experience didn't break her. On the contrary, it instilled in her the same fierce determination as her mother's, preparing her for the challenges ahead.